Oh! Today we're going to talk about a revolutionary change in cycling as far as I'm concerned, which is these new mini air compressors, which for the remainder of the video I'm going to refer to as boom boxes, and you'll figure out why. In this case, I've got the CYCPLUS AS2 Pro. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos so you don't, and it either wins the mini compressor test or it's close to the top. And given that it was easily available on Amazon, I just pulled the trigger on it. And I can tell you right now, manufacturer's claims, this thing charges in a little over 20 minutes. It held its charge from when I first bought it for about 2 to 3 months. It still had 3 bars on it. And what's neat about this one, got to start it up here again, is you can actually set, if I move closer here, the pressure on it. Currently it's at 0, but I've got it set to 60 psi. So I just hit the button and it inflates right up to 60 psi. Voila. So like I said, I think these things are revolutionary. I never knew how bad I had it. And this right here is, I believe, the Silca Bluetooth. So you can actually, on your phone with an app called iGauge, watch this thing pump up. It's never done me wrong, but we're going to do a simple demonstration to show you how fantastic the new boom boxes are. I've hacked this slightly to make it a little bit more fair. So what I've done is I've flipped around the chuck head on this pump, and I'm going to install a click valve head, which gets rid of one of the major disadvantages of any of these pumps with the Presta friction fit heads, which is that they slip off while you're pumping, doing the action of pumping. Whereas obviously when you have a mini boom box, you just hold it stationary and you're not going to slip off. Tasty. So in both cases, I pumped it up to 60 psi. And as you can see, I'm still struggling along here trying to get that done. And I can assure you I do not have weak arms. So for instance, if you try to use this pump, for instance, with a Phil Gaiman type arm musculature, it's probably going to take you a lot longer than what's going on there. And if you look at this, I'm still at 3 bars. That was super quick, super painless. I'll even say to you that using this hose may be to your detriment rather than just plugging it straight in. But because I have a TPU tube in this, I'm not taking any chances with melting the tube. Of course, there'll be another video on that. Let's do a gravel application. Let's say how long it takes to get this, which is a 47 mil wide, which is typical of nowadays. I don't have any 50s, with a small rim packed gravel insert in there. And I'm going to take it up on these 27 mil wide rims to 30 psi. Doesn't seem too bad. For craps and giggles, let's just try this thing on a mountain bike tire. So here, click valve, again, 30 mil wide rim, 2.5 double down tire, no. And I repeat, no insert in it, 29 inch of course. We're going to do 25 PSI. That's pretty impressive. I'm still at 3 bars, and that was the longest test, and my hands were able to handle the heat. Even the hose gets a little bit hot. Now, if I had the hands, say, of a pro cyclist, I might need that silicone sleeve. What comes in this magic box? You get a silicone sleeve, which you can put on the base unit to protect your hands. You get a charging cable. You get an extending hose. They recommend using that with TPUs. And good news, it's also click valve compatible. You get a plastic bag, which they recommend using. You get a sports ball nozzle, and I believe that right there allows you to convert if you flip the spare chuck over to Schrader valve. The pump with its holder weighs 177 grams. If you want to go bare minimum with the boom box, it's not bad, 125 grams. If you decide you need the silicone sleeve, you're going to add a little bit of weight. And if you've got TPU tubes, another video coming, and you have to have the extender hose, you're still lighter than the pump. At a distance of approximately 5 feet, let's see the reaction of this fine piece of wildlife. The reaction and annoyance is almost instant. The million-dollar question is, if these are revolutionary, why would I consider using a traditional pump over the boombox? First and foremost, if you're the type of person that constantly is losing power on your Di2 because you forget to charge the battery, these might not be for you. The next thing is you've got, at my girth, 3 on a road bike tire inflations. Think about it. If you've had ever more than 3 flats on one ride, you might want to consider these. Or if you end up doing unsupported camping trips or epic rides, you'd want this rather than this because you will run out of power. The next thing is if you ride in rainy weather. Like I said, you've got to put this thing in a plastic bag. The charging port here, which is also the air intake, is exposed. You get water into that, this thing is likely done. What you can do though is if you have a dry and a wet season, use this during the dry season, use this during the wet season. With aero being king, no one mentions that this is probably an aerodynamic nightmare. Anyone that says, but MAE, just put it in your back pocket. No. That's reserved for snacks, especially considering even for a skinny cyclist, they're saying on long rides you need to take down 120 grams of carbohydrates per hour. For me, that'd be way more. Of course, if you put the boom box back here in the seat bag, it's going to be way more aerodynamic, especially with the shading that I'll give for this seat bag with my extra large keister. The only feedback I have on this, if I was doing this again, I would make the buttons a little bit more tactile and larger to operate. And this silicone sleeve, I really just don't think you need it. It does get hot, but it's not that bad. Oh, tasty. Oops. Oh, hey, to wrap this up, unfortunately my expensive pump is now right here collecting dust because this revolutionary product has replaced it. I'm going to do one more video where I'm going to test these pumps versus TPU tubes because CYCPLUS has given a recommendation that you have to use a hose with the TPU tube. Let's see if that's actually true. So with that, like, subscribe. If you've got a comment or a question, or you just generally want to take a dig at me, do it down below. Until next time, please ride hard.